In the shadow of the Western Berks Landfill lies the Hoch Cemetery, situated in Cumru Township on High Hill, a peninsula made by the bend in the Schuykill River. This 400 acres was once part of Poplar Neck Farm, which was established by Samuel Hoch in 1745. Samuel was the grandson of Rudolf Hoch, who came to America from Switzerland in 1717 and settled in Ole. Around the time Samuel purchased Poplar Neck, he anglicized his surname from Hoch to High. He was married to Esther Herbine, and together they had 4 children, Johannes, Isaac, Susanna, and David. Both Samuel and son Isaac served as Berks County commissioners in the 1700s. Unfortunately, the couple was predeceased by all of their children. The very first burial written in stone in the Hoch Cemetery was of 9-year-old son David in 1769. Johannes died in 1781 at age 30, and then Susanna in 1785 at age 27. Isaac, who was a Revolutionary War veteran, died in 1794 at age 42, and Samuel followed suit in 1795 at age 63. Only 7 months later, Esther was on her own deathbed and had concerns over the future care of the graves of her husband and children. She directed in her will that a stone wall be built around the cemetery and it be maintained with money from her estate. Luckily, Isaac had children before his death, and they would continue to live on and farm the land that their grandfather settled. This included a grandson, Brigadier General William High, whose accomplishments included also serving as a county commissioner between 1816 and 1819, as well as a member of the state legislature in 1832, and was an associate Berks County judge. By the 1880s, Samuel's great-grandson Ezra High lived on the property in a house he built next to the cemetery. He had the cemetery walls redone in brick with wood coping and added the ornate wrought iron gates to the entrance. Ezra is also known for his collection of 6,000 Native American arrowheads, some of which are currently on display at the Berks History Center, which he discovered all around the Poplar Neck property. In fact, the entire estate had once been sacred Native ritual ground. The property stayed in the High family until Ezra's son, William Penn High, sold it to Mary Archer, a local political activist, philanthropist, and neighbor, in 1909. In 1973, the Western Berks Refuse Authority turned the entire property into a landfill. Many of the homes that once housed members of the High family were torn down. The tiled roof stone house that Samuel built for Esther in 1755 was demolished in 2005 after sitting dilapidated for the entirety of the Refuse Authority's ownership. By 2006, the cemetery was in a dire state of disrepair. The brick walls were crumbling and the metal gates were falling off their hinges, as Esther's estate had long been depleted of funds for maintaining it. The Berks County Association for Graveyard Preservation stepped up to the task of revitalizing the family plot. They rebuilt the walls and refurbished the wrought iron gate. The area was cleared of fallen trees and debris, as well as stones cleaned and restored. The project cost $26,000 to complete, all of which was raised by donations and association funding. At this same time, the landfill changed ownership to Waste Management, who promised to maintain better conditions at the Hoch Cemetery.
Well, it's got a flag.
On June 5th, I visited this plot with Cole Swanger, Cliff, also known as the Wandering Woodsman here on YouTube, and Gary Koenig from the Berks County Association for Graveyard Preservation. As far as we can tell, they have lived up to the promise they made 2 decades ago.
This one?
With the help of Gary, we examined and tried to verify the names on the stones, and found all of the descendants previously discussed. At one point, Gary whipped out his dowsing rods, in which he walked around and found what he believes to be unmarked graves. Theoretically, these could be the graves of servants or poorer people who live nearby. Sometimes better-off families allowed neighbors to be buried unmarked in their cemeteries.
Whoa. Stop. That's a grave.
That's a grave? Hopefully not a fresh one.
No.
Just kidding.
Well, that's the one thing with historic graveyards.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can be buried there within 50 years.
Right. So what does that mean? I've heard that used to like find water, but how does it?
It finds a disturbance in the grave.
Okay.
In the ground.
Given that the land was once sacred to the natives, it would also not be surprising if the general vicinity included their burial grounds. Though any remains are long gone, as the area around High Hill has been completely reconfigured by landfill operations, evident by the pipes coming out of the ground to relieve methane gas from the buried trash.
To make this a landfill, it's so beautiful. Huh. What are you doing out there? Oh.
Just outside the cemetery lies a much newer stone. It belongs to Max, a beloved guard dog who resided at the landfill between 1978 and 1984 when he tragically perished in a gas leak in an authority garage he was in. Now he guards the cemetery.
Oh, it does, yeah. Huh.
Collecting Native American artifacts, especially here.
It's a great spot, except for getting up to it.
I don't know if this is, I think it's just concrete.
Yeah, this is.
This is the peak of, oh, check out that view. Just a truck.
The future of this site remains uncertain, as the landfill has almost reached capacity and is set to close by the end of 2025. What happens next is anyone's guess. Realistic options for the site are limited because of the half-century of waste that lies beneath its surface. Sacred native lands to mountains of trash, an almost metaphorical contrast to how little consideration we give to the well-being of our environment compared to those who walked these grounds before us.